Just had a clap there so I can sync my own audio up. That is good.
Okay.
Things are still moving. I hope I don't run out of hard drive space, but we should.
I'm sure you'll be fine. Okay, I will. So I started my audio. I will start recording. Not start streaming. Start recording.
Have you ever hit that button by mistake? Because I have.
And everyone's like, what the crap is this? This weird one-sided conversation.
I accidentally did it during when I was recording Thimbleweed Park, and I accidentally hit start streaming, and apparently you can record and stream at the same time, so I didn't notice. Apparently I was streaming like half an hour of me fucking with Thimbleweed Park with my lips moving, but no commentary audio because, you know, the mic is getting fed into Audacity instead.
Yeah.
So I had one guy going, that was a weird stream last night. What?
A what? I didn't do it. I didn't stream anything. All right, here, I'll clap to get my stuff. Okay,
Excellent.
So now you should be able to sync my video and my audio.
Awesome.
Okay.
Excellent clapping, sir. I approve.
I try my best. I practiced all night.
All right. Okay. So, without further ado, I guess, does anyone remember where we left off? We were on our way to Allanor.
Yes.
And the first episode is just me dicking around on Allanor and encountering a tremendously broken puzzle with the door that you have to get through, the service droid's door.
Right. Yeah.
It's a little broken, and I had some fun at the game's expense by I somehow triggered a glitch where the door remained open and then tried to guide Troy through it, and she just goes, "The door closes too fast," and it's been open for like 10 minutes.
The door's open. Yeah.
Yes. No, I don't want to go through that. That could be very dangerous. Oh, you son of a.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
I'm sure we'll have some fun.
We will. And the sixth one is the explosive finale. That's a bit long. That's 45 minutes, but yeah, sure we'll get through it. That's the whole Unity device bit.
No problem. I've got hours. I've got like 3 hours till I have to be off. So.
Okay, this shouldn't take more than 2. I'm sure.
No, it's fine. Cool.
So let's get this shit rolling.
All right. So this thing should. So if you click start, then it should start for me too, if I'm not crazy. There we go.
Yeah. There we are.
Mr. Data, any suggestions?
I suggest we contact Starfleet, Captain.
Surprise!
Of course you
surprise!
do.
Yes. Hi everyone. This
We are receiving a
is
signal
the Space
from
Quest
Starfleet.
historian and Joe
is
Mastriani from the Upper
Admiral
Memory Block playing
On
Star Trek:
screen.
The Next Generation, the
Greetings,
thrilling
Admiral. What can we do for you?
concluding episodes, I guess. Hi Joe, how are you?
Hi, I am very, very good.
Yes, I am so glad to hear you say that.
Are they hostile?
We have just been invaded, not just by the Romulans, turns out that wasn't an invasion at all, and now this alien race named the
Do you have any
Chodak
idea of their
has
objectives?
also crossed into the
strangest
Federation
part.
space,
It
and
looks like they're
they're not
pursuing
too
the
happy, but
Romulans
they all want to get
into
to the
the
same
Zara's
nebula,
nebula.
so...
Isn't that always how it
My
happens?
first
Yeah,
instinct would
you'd
be to
think
let them
Federation
go
would just
without
go,
blessing.
okay, I think we see where things are
I wish
going,
we
let's
could.
just send everything we've got there.
Unfortunately,
But no,
Outpost Delta 085
we've got a flagship
directly
and
on
we
their
have to
present
use it for
course.
something.
We can't afford
Right,
to
we've got to send
Proceed
one,
at best
albeit
possible speed to the
understandably
yard
powerful
system
ship
and
in,
intercept.
but still, it's just one
Understood.
ship
Pick
because
up.
we got to try and talk our way out of the situation because we're the Federation.
What are your
Yeah.
orders, Captain?
Set
All right.
course for the Yaj system.
Off we go. Yeah.
Engage.
At some point, I think Spectrum Holobyte, the writers, were just rolling their heads on the keyboards, you know, coming
Yeah,
up with
it's
these
like-
planet names.
It's like we're starting to run out of ideas here.
Ah, yeah, and here comes the opening credit bit. I should really have saved my introduction until
Unidentified
that,
alien
but-
vessel ahead.
Eh,
They have locked weapons
it's all
onto
good.
us.
We're rusty.
Hail them.
Uh-oh,
There is no
time for a
response.
fight.
time for a
They are
fight.
firing.
Time for
Evasive
a
maneuvers.
very prolonged and miserable fight. I've edited out most of this, spared you the horribleness. This fight, incidentally, is unavoidable. It is a scripted fight, and it will happen when you're on your way to Allanor. I think that's
Right.
the planet they're... No, wait, they're not heading there yet. They
Heading
haven't
for the
figured...
Yaj
Yeah,
system.
they're heading for the Yaj system because that will tell them how to get to Allanor. And now, the computer crashed.
Yeah, so something just went a little crazy.
Unidentified.
And we'll try that again.
Try that again.
Locking weapons.
Engage tactical maneuver.
And a bit of spaceship jiggling.
Yep, I love it.
And now, nothing is really moving.
It's like, what's happening?
And then I remembered something you said about how the sound card driver was a bit broken. Now, up until this point, I'd had no problem running it in stereo Sound Blaster 16, but now I just felt, okay, it sounds like it's the sound card driver fucking up, so let's try that again. That is some nice spaceship jiggling going on there. It's
Whoever's at the helm is on crack.
Worf is just tumbling around drunkenly. I should not have had that 6th bowl of.
Now I can't remember if we talked about this last time, but did we define why we thought this jiggling was happening?
No. Do you have any suggestions as to why it is?
I think it might be a CPU timing thing.
Oh. Because the game is running in DOSBox. Good job. Everyone's dead. That fight went on for a long time.
Yeah.
And because there are 2 Chodak ships on the screen, and this is like 20 minutes cut down to nothing, so I just hit the run away button. And yeah, that might actually, then it cuts to this, where you can't do anything, and then it cuts back to the fight, and there's no one around, and at this point, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning when I'm recording this, and I'm just staring wide-eyed at the screen going, what just happened?
Reducing speed to maximum warp.
All right.
So, I just ran away from a fight, and I think that actually might have sort of borked the good guy path I was on, I guess, trying to go for the full score, because this cutscene only appears if you mess up that fight. However, I don't know if the fight is winnable.
So it might just be that there is no full good guy path. Who knows? I guess we'd have to look into that.
Maybe this cutscene has to happen. I don't know. But I was
it's sort of like in Wing Commander 3 where you have that fight that you have to lose.
Yeah. That bombing run thing. And I had cheat codes enabled when I was playing that, and I could not understand why it was punishing me by just sending in more and more shit for me to deal with.
Right, and I actually got stuck in the game because I like finishing everything properly, so I assumed that there was a way to win that mission. So I just kept playing it over and over and over again, and I kept feeling like, oh, I'm super close this time, and I'm gonna get it, and I never did. And then I actually bought the strategy guide and read the strategy guide, and it's like, yeah, you can't win this mission. It's part of the story. I'm like, oh, damn it.
Oh, so that they could have told me that.
It wasn't clear in my mind, at least at the time.
No, and it's not clear if you can win this Chodak fight either. So we just, a Federation outpost just blew up for the 2nd time in a couple of days, really. Oh, actually, the same day, isn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty soon after.
The Romulans just took care of one, and now we've got the Chodaks. And I seriously was in that fight for 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And it's just like, this is awful. My ship is just jiggling around, doing nothing, and I keep getting these conflicting messages. Geordi's going, we have no shields, and Riker saying, shields up!
What's going on? Well, even Picard screws up sometimes.
Yeah. Well, the best part was when the Enterprise exploded on screen, on camera, and debris was flying everywhere, and Geordi's voice, I suppose his ghost or something, said something like, we're out of power. No fucking shit.
Yeah, there is, because there is no power. There's no more power. It's gone. It's all blown up. Maybe it was his visor talking. Maybe it survived.
Oh, so this is the part where they figure out how to get to Allanor. Yeah, there you go. Because there are 2 ways to do this. When we were at the Vulcan archaeology site, we were supposed to scan everything close by. They had this thing on a tripod-y kind of thing. This what do you call it? Star binoculars, something.
Right. Sciencey stuff, whatever.
All the sciencey stuff. And if you don't scan any of that, then you don't get the coordinates to Allanor. Because Data just said, I've correlated all the information we have, and now we can go and have fun at this Chodak outposty thing.
Right.
If you don't do that, you are stuck like warping back and forth between nebula, trying to triangulate the position, and it takes an awful long time, and you get into all these random fights. The game essentially turns into Final Fantasy at this point. You just grow.
Random encounters over and over again.
Yes, and I just got out of, like I said, an hour's encounter. So I just decided not to. Oh yeah, and I took so much damage that I just went, nah, fuck it. Let's go to Starbase. Let's refuel up, and I took so long getting to the starbase and then getting back to where I was that Data actually started giving me hints on, you know what, if you don't want my advice, maybe we should go look at this nebula after all. And it's like, no, sorry.
See, I always had issues with these star bases and the fact that they had doors. And like, look, the Enterprise is like just big enough to go through the door. What happens when they make a ship that's bigger than the Enterprise? Then it can't go inside.
Then that ship will be the flagship, and it'll just have to dock outside like a normal person.
Yeah, I guess so.
Captain's log. We
I just
have
always thought it
arrived
was
at
funny.
the planet Allanor, where we
Captain's
hope to find
log.
information about the unity.
I'm really sad that they didn't
Legendary
subtitle
superweapon
the
created by
cutscenes.
the ancient Chodak.
And the ending of the game is basically one long cutscene. So I actually took the liberty of subtitling that manually.
Oh, wow. Impressive.
But none of what was just said is of any importance whatsoever.
Our scan of the planet.
Other than Allanor was the it wasn't an outpost. Sorry, I misspoke. It was the seat of government for the Chodak Empire. This is where shit
Are there any
happened.
life
Aha. This is the Earth and or
detected
Coruscant,
an
if we're going into Star Wars,
extensive
of
I
the
knew you
Chodak
would.
Empire.
Cochrane
Yes.
field emissions from
That
the
is exactly what it is.
Phenomenon?
It's actually funny. I was. Oh, sorry. You go ahead.
The field is exhibited.
No, I was just gonna say yes, but what they just said is there's actually a computer running down there. So let's beam down and check it out.
Good place to begin
You were saying?
Oh, it's just I'm hearing Patrick Stewart speaking and in the previous episodes we've talked about how fond we are of Patrick Stewart
Yes.
speaking, and sort of coincidentally, yesterday I watched Logan, and if you haven't seen that yet, it makes if you didn't love Patrick Stewart like 100%, like if you only loved him 98% of the capability of loving Patrick Stewart, watch Logan and you'll love him that extra 2%, because he's just this kind of crotchety, sweary, old, enfeebled Professor X in there, and it's great. It's just him swearing at Hugh Jackman for the whole movie. It's awesome.
I think I somehow
I-
accidentally
yeah.
switched over to that movie and saw like the end of it and saw Patrick Stewart swearing the head off someone in a wheelchair. I had no idea what movie it was. So that's Logan. Okay, I should definitely go check that out. And I do love Patrick Stewart 100%, so this would put him in the 110%.
Detected.
The Cochrane field source lies in this direction.
If the source of the Cochrane field emissions is truly an operational computer, there's no telling what
Excellent.
might
See,
happen.
I also recently saw a movie where he was a white supremacist leader in some, bunker society, and the story is about this. It's called Green Room. It's about this punk band that goes to play a gig, and they don't realize that it's at a skinhead rally in this white supremacist compound until it's way too late. And Patrick Stewart is the leader of this, because he's bald already, so they thought, what the hell? And he's not a very nice man in that movie, but it's a good movie.
I love it when actors start getting older and they just start doing crazy roles that they would have never done, like in their, I don't even want to say heyday, because I think Patrick Stewart's as popular as he's ever been, but in their younger days when they were a quote unquote more serious actor.
There's a story about when when the Enterprise would shake and everyone would have to sort of roll around and pretend they're getting hit, and they had this scale of from a blast from 1 to 10. And you could, and Patrick Stewart's way of rating that blast is every time he would shake around, he would mutter under his breath, 10 years at the Royal Shakespeare Academy for this.
Yeah, I could imagine. I mean, it's almost kind of unfathomable that they got him for this role, because it's kind of like, a new Star Trek show. Well, that's sort of silly. I'm a Shakespearean actor. Why would I do this? And it ended up obviously being
It's an
a mega hit,
starship
but
schedule.
Oh, he took it very seriously. Like the first, I saw that documentary last night actually, Chaos on the Bridge that William
Right.
Shatner did, and it is. He took it so he was not a. Patrick Stewart was really sort of an unpleasant man to be around the first 2 seasons because he took it so seriously. So when people would sort of get up and jiggy and have fun between takes, he was like grumpy and going, "You
work
are
to be done." Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so things we missed was that little robot outside there. It has a logic inhibitor. If you remove that, it starts talking to you in a very condescending voice like, would you hand over your phasers, please? Because this will be your only warning, and I will shoot your ass. And there's an option to give it your phasers, which I think is a dead end. I don't think you can progress if you just hand over your phasers, because you are, like I just did, you have to phaser your way through that little hole there with the grating on it.
Right, and obviously once you give them up, he probably won't give them back easily or at all.
Oh no. I think you might be able to sort of jam the logic inhibitor in him and get your phasers back, but I don't know. I have not tried.
You have to use original series Kirk versus computer illogic. Working, does not compute, and then the computer catches on fire.
If only they could do that. Now, computers are a bit more smart here. Although it would be fun to try that shit on Data. Just to see what he would do. Just
Scheduled arrival at line
Blow up
D
his
is probably
positronic
our
matrix.
arrival.
his positronic matrix would just, go into high bullshit alert and just go, this human is fucking with you. This human is fucking with you.
Line
love it.
6 must be the Romulans' arrival.
Oh, I'm on season 3 in my watch through, I guess we can call it, of the Star Trek series. This is, when it gets good season.
Yes, exactly. Because the first two, there's good episodes in the first 2 seasons for sure. But they're separated by some very silly, weird, sometimes racist, sometimes just bad.
Yeah. The end of the second season is where they introduce the Borg in one of the best shows they've ever done, and it's followed immediately by the Space Irish episode, which is so unfathomably stupid and borderline racist that I just don't know how to deal with it. And then a Lawaxana Troy episode.
Right, and then the season finale is a clip show because they ran out of money and there was a writer's strike.
Exactly.
Because the season finale of season 2 was supposed to continue
The Borg thing.
the Borg thing, or maybe that was season 1. Anyways, the Borg were supposed to come in much earlier, and they were supposed to be a much bigger threat early in the show, but they just didn't have money. And I guess now we're used to all the Borg costumes from First Contact and beyond, which are pretty impressive, but those original Borg costumes look pretty shitty.
I thought they were kind of cute. I can't wait to...
They're okay, but they're not scary.
No, the music really helps, because this was back when they also had the full orchestra doing the soundtrack, and they just told the string section to just play whatever fucked up shit that comes to mind, just as long as it's very high-pitched.
Yeah,
and they did.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
go back and rewatch those. Yeah, let's talk about the game for a little bit.
Yeah, this is the door puzzle I was telling you before we start recording. This door puzzle is broken as shit. It's not broken to the point where the game will not let you continue. But what you're supposed to do is freeze this droid in front of the door. The door will only open if a droid comes near it. But somehow I managed to glitch it, as you're seeing now, so that the door remains open, even though I haven't solved the puzzle.
Door closes too quickly.
And Troy's just a big old scaredy cat.
Like she was right there.
Door closes too quickly.
And and I could not for the life of me realize what I was doing wrong, because it's been so long since I played it, until I realized you have to stand still in this screen for a bit, and then this droid, or this robot, will drop down from the ceiling. And then you can scan the droid and go, oh, it operates on this and this frequency, and then you can turn it off as it approaches the door. That's why you need the logic inhibitor, stick that in the door so the door won't open, the droid will stand still, you scan the droid, it operates on this and this shitty frequency or whatever, then you turn off the droid, remove the logic inhibitor, and then the door stays open, and then Troy can get her ass in gear.
To get through the damn door.
Yeah.
God, that description just made my brain hurt.
Yes!
It's like you have to do this and then that and then that and then that.
And it doesn't hint to anything. You're just supposed to stand still on the screen until this happens, which it hasn't up until now, because you went to a panel and turned everything on. So you're just supposed... There's a lot of timers running in this game, and it sometimes works to the detriment, because none of the away team have any helpful suggestions whatsoever.
Right, it's not like, maybe we should go check out what happened in that other room, or blah blah blah. Just, I don't know. And that's just like poor design, right? Where you have these timers, but there's no indication that there's a timer running.
Right. And it is full of these. What is interesting, though, is that I deliberately took Troy on this mission, on this away team mission. If you let the game decide, it just brings one of those ensign red shirts characters that I have no desire to bring along. I thought I'd bring Troy along because we are about to encounter... Spoiler, the Chodak. They're on this planet, and they've been having a whale of a time just sitting around waiting for their empire to be rebuilt. And I thought I'd bring Troy along because, they obviously went to the trouble of recording dialogue for her and, all of the crew, really. You can decide what away team you want to bring. So I thought maybe they'd recorded some extra dialogue for her. Like she's reading their minds, just going, ooh, the Chodak.
Something, yeah.
She's lying, Captain, or whatever. Which is
I'm just looking at the inventory down here, and I love the fact you have like all these med kits and phasers and like rods and inhibitors and a paperclip.
Yes. and that paperclip actually comes in handy later for I don't know what kind of shit they were pulling, but later on in the game, one of these ice linear rods gets stuck in a terminal. And there's actually a little paperclip hole next to it. Like, you remember the old CD-ROM drives?
CD-ROM,
You
yeah.
had to stick that. That's what the paperclip is for.
Oh my god. I mean, that's probably... I almost wonder if that's sort of an inside joke.
I think it must be. I mean, these are British people who developed this game. They must have... Yeah.
Because, that's something that we would have been very familiar with, in the time that this game would have come out. It's like, oh, well, there's a piece of a data device stuck in the reader, so let's use this paperclip to get out. That has to be a computer joke that they just threw in there.
It has to be, but it is also something that you have to do to progress in the game. And I think
Right, which is funny.
it was funny in 1996. I can't remember. Was it 96 or 5 that this came out?
5, I think,
95.
if I remember right. Yeah.
All right, so we just blew everything up.
Yeah, it's the best solution usually.
Yeah.
That's more of a Kirk solution, but we'll go with it.
Yeah, and this time it was Troy doing it. And here come the imposing Chodak. I mean, holy shit, aren't they just scary looking?
Who are you? Where is your master?
It just looks like they're floating around in a toilet bowl, like an upright...
Hello, I'm a
upright-
weird blob face.
Yeah,
Please follow me, sir. Our master will want to speak with you. Follow me, please.
it's just a zygote floating around in an upright toilet bowl. I don't see how these are supposed to be the scary, scary Chodak. But I sent Troy in to do first contact because if she's good for anything, it should be...
Unexpected guests.
Yeah, I have
Right,
the
she
deepest
should be
voice,
able
so
to-
I'm the evil one.
They are definitely
Yes, I am the
organic
leader.
life forms.
Yeah, she should be able to read them.
They are definitely
Or something, yeah. I mean, she can. I know she can't necessarily read every
Our master will only speak to your
species,
master.
but
Yeah,
I don't see what. Yeah, so she should be able to do something.
but she did not. The game just pulled that thing that it did earlier too. It just went, no, we only recorded this dialogue for Picard, so get his ass over here, and then we'll continue.
Are not shun.
So I guess, do you have the option of not taking Picard on this mission?
Picard of the USS Enterprise.
Interesting.
I represent the United Federation
I wonder if you... Yeah, you probably could, and then you'd probably get stuck on the screen.
in the system.
Either that, or maybe like it'd be like Picard and Riker could do it, or there'd be some combination. I guess that would be the hard part. Like that's the hard part when you go back and talk, listen to interviews from like Ron Gilbert and all those guys, like Maniac Mansion with the multiple characters. That they had to have combinations. They had to figure out all the different combinations that you could do things in, or all the different orders you could solve the puzzles in, and make sure that there were no, or at least as few as possible, dead ends where,
With the Romulans.
because you chose this character and this character to go on this mission, or to go through this
Our
playthrough of
treaty
the
with
game,
Romulans makes
that
an
you don't
exception
get
for
stuck.
scientific exploration.
Yeah, and I think this particular sequence of the game is designed so that it's actually an obstacle course. And if you screw up at any point, if the droid in the first room shoots you or something, the away team just beams back to the Enterprise, and then they go, well, we'll have to think of something else, because then I think the Chodak here just sort of piss off, and then you have to, follow them instead. So this is just for completionists, at least.
Right.
That's... Oh, wait. It's because at the end of this obstacle course is a terminal, a computer terminal, and you're supposed to quickly record some information with your tricorder, and if you don't do that, then I think it's more nebula hunting or some shit like that.
It's like basically every time you screw up a puzzle, instead of just killing you, it punishes you by making you go nebula hunting.
Yes. Oh, great, more nebula. Set a course, number one.
To begin our research.
And
It's almost like we couldn't figure out the solution, so now we're just going to guess for a long time.
there are several ways to go to the Hall of Records is where you're supposed to go. It is on the other end of actually a very tiny obstacle course. The Chodak here offered to guide you along the way.
Follow my optimators to the hall of
He just did that. He just said, just
Right, the
follow these
optimators.
dudes.
with all known encryption.
Yeah, the and they don't combine to form Megatron or whatever. They're just
Yeah. He just called Data a
Need to
drone.
trouble yourself.
yes, he did.
Your drone could be useful.
I cannot let you wander.
That's
But
why
you have,
Data didn't get like offended. I am an android, sir.
it's weird. Data never. I mean, the entirety of season 2, you got Dr. Pulaski just being absolutely android racist left and right.
Yeah.
and he never bats an eye.
That's actually one of my favorite one of my favorite lines in TNG is when she first meets him and she keeps calling him Data, and she's like, "What's the difference?" And he's like, "One is my name, the other is not."
Yeah, I remember that. Pulaski never really fully gelled at me. Anyway, you can get escorted to this room, and then you miss out because then you don't have time to scan this information that you need.
The device appears to
But
be
you can
fully
also, like I
operational.
just did, tell them, no, I'll go alone, and I'll mess up this transporter a lot. I don't know if I kept any of that footage in, but I was on this screen for quite a while as well, because it gives you no indication what is actually happening, where you're sending these people. It just, oh, that seemed to work. Okay, so we'll engage the timer, and then Troy will step in. I made Troy do it, because if anyone has to take the blame for something going wrong, I figure it should be her.
Well, everyone does blame her. You know, every time she flies the ship, she crashes it. So.
Yeah, that's true. At least they gave her a uniform in this game, so this must take place in one of the later seasons, chronologically.
Yeah, I think. Oh right, yeah, I think we talked about this in one of the first episodes. It's like, it's between the first 2 episodes of season 7 or something like that.
Okay,
like if
so
you go
it's-
by the star date.
Yeah, so it's right at the end.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember you saying that. Now.
Yeah, which makes sense
Now that-
because the game. Yeah, because the game was. Well, the game was supposed to come out in '94, which would have been season 7, but it came out in '95 because it was delayed.
Yeah.
There is a doorway at the far
And this
side
was
of
actually the
room.
last time that they provided the voices for these characters, save for, must have been Insurrection or Nemesis that came out.
I believe a security
Something
system is just
like
activated.
that. Yeah, I have to go back and check because I think. Or I think Generations had come out, but yeah, and then
These lights
the
appear to
last
be passive
2
sensors.
or 3 still had to come out. But
It's a direct
maybe this is the last
energy
time they
weapon
did it in the
somehow.
context of
I
like
don't
the
detect an
show.
internal targeting mechanism.
Probably. Yeah. Like this was actually the last episode they recorded, so to speak.
Right.
And this is another broken ass puzzle.
No effect.
You're supposed to scan these. I mean, this is an obvious one. Turn off all the sensors, then you can move
Right.
without getting shot to shit.
Mm-hmm.
And now, Jordy, I mean, you've tried shooting it once, you've tried tricording them once, then he goes, right, we're just gonna make it so,
It's a directed energy weapon.
and then it does nothing, and you still try and shoot everything, and it just goes, nah, I don't think I feel like doing it anyway. You have to scan it again.
Sensor shields at 737 angstroms.
And there he goes. And then this fucking box pops up that goes, tune phasers to something angstroms. You go, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'd rather not do this. I'd rather not click on the solution to the puzzle.
Yes. And it really is I mean, if they had had the time, I mean, they would have shown this little dial and you had to dial in the phaser or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure they just, like, this is the end of the game, and they're like, oh, crap, we're like a year over time, blah, blah, blah. Let's just pop up a dialogue box.
My visor's picking up trionic radiation. It's almost as if subspace waves were propagating inside the rock.
Ooh.
LeVar Burton just looking at the script going, Technobabble, I've missed you so.
Especially him. Like, him and Data really get to, like, because they're, like, the sciencey / engineering guys.
Yeah. And this is so weird. Like, you click the tricorder on this thing, Data walks all the way down, and then just enters the room, goes, nah, I didn't want to scan that anyway. Alright, this...
Needed the exercise.
Yeah. This is the terminal that you're supposed to get to. Now, if you let the Chodak sort of escort you here, then you don't get to fiddle with it on your own. And what this does
Search subject.
is give you the home address of the Unity device, wherever
Right.
the hell that is. If you don't do that, then the you've got the Chodak there. They get to the terminal first, and they go, "Ha! You have the isolinear rod, you bastards!" And you're supposed to scan this chart in particular. And they just go, right, thanks for the information. They just delete the computer, put up this movie, which he does in just a second, and just
Right.
leave you to it.
And it's also funny that, and I'm sure they have some, Star Trek explanation for this, but, the Chodak computer has, like, English, Roman script.
Yeah, that's something I've wondered, because in the show, the only alien race to really speak in their alien language is the Vulcans and Klingons. Whenever they meet,
Right.
like, I don't know, Shellyak or any of these, like, it just got done watching the one with the dumb aliens, the Packlets.
Oh, the Packleds, yes. We are smart.
We make things go.
I love the Packleds.
You might be the only one in the galaxy who does.
I love Geordi in that one at the end when he tricks them or whatever. It's like, oh, they used their crimson shield.
And he almost goes full reading Rainbow on them.
From the time the first Chodak Grub made his fateful
Oh, now we got a history lesson.
Yeah, not even a history, like an infomercial history lesson. It's like one of those.
It's a tourism video.
Yes, exactly. Or like one of those movies they show in conference rooms. Like the whole company, all the executives are together, so they have to sort of get a pep talk video of how great the company is. All this needs is a couple of slide graphs and you're done.
We de-randomize a quanta of subspace. The result
It's like this super ugly.
This was the most powerful race in the galaxy, and honestly, I mean, have you ever seen, like, have you walked on some asphalt and just seen a fresh loogie just lying there before it sort of melts into the asphalt?
Yeah, it looks sort of like that.
That's kind of, these guys kind of look like loogies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking loogies.
The Unity device is already being used to make the universe a better place for Chodaks. It has pacified regions of the Empire facing...
And they do go on about...
Paid for it by the Unity device, whatever.
Yes, exactly. And this dude is just not sure what he's doing, but he's cool. He's happening. He was an example of second-class membership. And this is something they're gonna bring this up a lot. Once you get to the Unity device, Broadneck keeps going, no, you'll be fine. Second-class membership is really, really good.
Power, and it was thrown away ages ago.
Oh, incidentally, if we haven't introduced him yet, this is, if we kind of missed that, this is Admiral Broadneck. He has a frighteningly long title, but this is Admiral Broadneck, and he is the main antagonist. He almost looks cute in a way.
Yeah, he looks. He sort of looks more like a Doctor Who alien.
Yeah, he does.
I feel that in the short time we have been.
But I guess Star Trek always did kind of like funny noses and stuff. They didn't. Obviously because on the TV show budget at the time you couldn't do like a weird floaty orb thing. Now you could.
Yeah, but they could have made the orb. I mean, what is to prevent Data from just jumping on this thing's back and toppling it and breaking the glass? That would be
just smush him. That's it.
Yeah.
The Chodak are gone.
Thanás, Troy.
Took the isolinear rod and brought program
I sense that
with
the Chodak are gone.
Thank you for that, Sid. All right, that was the end of episode 5. Yes, 5. So, when we come back, Joe and I will take you through the scintillating conclusion to this frighteningly interesting episode. So I hope to see you there. And around the Chrono Stream and all that.